Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
As with all things in this world, a certain degree of evolution is unavoidable. And if you're within the sound of my voice, that must mean that you're in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this podcast, this audio-only experience where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of entertainment industry professionals. We pick their brain about current projects, state of the industry, how they got started, and so very much more in a light and in a conversational fashion. And you know, if you like how we do things around here, I'm going to assume that you do, because you're listening. You can hear my voice. Keep hearing my voice. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a 5-star rating on your podcast provider of choice. We're available pretty much everywhere. Places like Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and plus we archive everything over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So if you can give us a like and subscribe there as well, we would absolutely appreciate it. Also, don't hesitate to check us out on social media. We're on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Letterboxd, the TikTok, the Blue Sky, the Threads. I'm sure there's others. There's too many. But we're In the Seats for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over at In the Seats, intheseats.ca, for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the moving image at large. Because guess what? If you love to watch it or listen about it, we love to write about it and talk about it. So please come on by, pay us a visit. We'd appreciate it. All right, boys and girls, on this one we got a fun one. New movie in theaters tomorrow or today, depending on when you're listening to this. A zombie film. I know what you're thinking. We've seen this done to death, but this is not your typical zombie film. This is Not a Test. And it's the story of young Sloane, played by Olivia Holt, and 4 other students who take shelter in their high school during a zombie outbreak. This is not your atypical zombie film. It's got a bit more severity to it. It's based on a book by Courtney Summers. It's really more about sort of the desperation and the interpersonal relationships and everything that kind of breaks down when they're confronted with, something horrible like this. And it's really, really well done. Like, everyone involved in it really kind of embraces the more serious side of the material. It's shot very naturally. It's shot kind of grimly. It's not, again, it's less actiony and even less gory. It's more emotionally fraught, which, again, for an independent horror movie who doesn't necessarily have a lot of budget for gore and whatnot, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's from writer-director Adam MacDonald, who has done a bunch of stuff. You may remember him from a myriad of projects like Backcountry, Pie Wacket, what else? I'm just trying to think. Out Come the Wolves. Did a bunch of episodes of the TV show Slasher, which I'm a big fan of. He's really a fantastic talent, and we had this chance to sit down with him to talk about, I guess, discovering this book and optioning it and just sort of getting involved into this project and making this something that pushes back against sort of the atypical tropes of the zombie movie, especially when it comes to young people and teenagers, because this could have very easily gone kind of actiony and over the top, but instead this is a movie where these characters are actually dealing with real world shit, and it comes out really well in the story and in the horror as well. I think everyone did a great job with this. It's in theaters now, but first enjoy our talk with writer-director Adam MacDonald about this project, because between you and me, it's a darn good one. All right, well, Adam, man, obviously, first off, just, thank you so much for the time, man. I really do appreciate this, and just congrats on the movie, man. I got to watch it last night. It's a hell of a ride.
Oh, awesome. Did you, that's great. Did you watch it on your laptop or did you watch it on
No,
your
no, no,
TV?
65-inch flat screen, so
With good sound?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, great, great. You never know, right?
Yeah, no, exactly, right.
Thanks for doing this though on the holiday
Oh,
today.
please,
Sorry
my
you
pleasure,
did
my
this.
pleasure. I mean, you're a busy guy, so no sweat. I guess my first question is, I mean, I think the thing that really stood out to me first when I was watching this movie was the severity of it. Like sometimes when we have high school students and zombies, that tends to be a little bit whimsical or a little bit of ha-ha in there. This was sort of very serious shit. Like, what was it initially that kind of drew you to the book? Was it that, or was there something else? Like, what compelled you to want to adapt it into a film?
That I was doing research for, I wrote a pilot that was similar. It was with teens in high school and zombies. So it was weird. So I was writing this pilot and I had some interest in it and everything. And I was looking around like what else out there is doing that. I just eventually Googled high school zombies, right? And the pilot was written and everything. And then this like Korean thing came up, that show, and then this book, This Is Not a Test. And I was like, what is that? What a great title, so provocative. So I was honestly doing like, okay, I was like, this is not a test, never heard of the book. And I was like, oh my God, hope it's not similar. And it wasn't. It was very, very different. But I read it and I was captivated because the book it didn't hold back any punches. It had teeth. It was vicious. It was so emotional. And I'm reading it. I'm like, it's very personal. It's a smaller kind of like thing between with her, and I could really relate to her from something I went through in my teens with depression that I almost didn't get out of. So I'm like, okay, I can speak to this. I want to do this as a film. And then I read it and I was like, oh my God. So I reached out and I said, I have to do this. Call it cathartic or something, but this is the zombie story I wanted to tell. So it's just happenstance. And then I was like, good.
I mean,
Go.
I love that, and I mean, it's one of those things where I appreciated the emotionality of it. Like you said, it's like it's being very real world and very kind of trying to appreciate sort of the emotion of the circumstance. And I mean, I know for you, I can imagine as a director, you've heard the old joke before about casting being most of your job.
Yeah, it's true. It's
But I mean,
true.
Olivia
True.
is so good in this, and I mean, she is so good, sort of in the final girl mode, but at the same time she has sort of the capability of handling sort of those layers of why the character got there. Like, talk to me a little bit about finding the right people for this film.
That it's imperative. It's like the Breakfast Club. Can you imagine the Breakfast Club without those actors? Like
Exactly, yeah.
it's almost like putting together a band where they all have their instruments and they have to gel together. It's like the Beatles. It has to be perfect, you hope so. No, it was a process. I mean, there was other people involved and there was another actress who was almost going to do it. I won't say her name, but she was very, very, very close. And I just think maybe the cinema gods came down and offered Olivia that way to make
Love
it
it.
perfect, because I think she was perfect as Sloane, absolutely perfect. No, Sybil had part of that too, because Sybil was the producer and she was, getting an influx of names and everything, and like we were like looking around, like who's your first choices, who can we get for this movie, for the budget we had, all that stuff. But it was crazy because I saw her the year before in Totally Killer and I thought she was great. Like she played the mom with the hair, and she was so
Yeah.
comedic. She had such charisma. Like she really you couldn't take your eyes off her. And I was like, there's something about her performance. I was like, she's got something special, right? So I love working with actors like that. That like you're like, wow, like they're so charismatic on screen.
Yeah.
And then I saw Cruel Summer, and then I was like, oh, that's the girl, da da da. And I was like, oh, she's phenomenal. Like now she's doing something more serious, it's darker. And I saw Sloane, and I was just blown away. So I remember just taking like a mental note, going, oh, I'd like to work with her one day.
Yeah.
She made an impression, right? So, and then her name came across my desk as like maybe like like maybe she'd be good for Sloane. And I was like, "Oh, that's her. Perfect. Oh, yes, yes, yes." It all came together. And I was taking Sybil felt the same way, and then we met, and yeah, she was great. She understood the character. I could see she was very motivated to do something grounded and serious, and yeah, she carried it, and she was phenomenal. And she understood how important the story was for me, personally, and it was a joy. Like she brought me to tears quite a bit on set. Like I felt tethered to her on the screen. Like she was emoting these emotions that are very difficult to do, very difficult to do. Like she was letting us in it with her eyes, and everything that my instincts were feeling about her came true. Like she did it.
Love it.
So very lucky. Yeah, the
When
perfect
making
slot.
this, how important was it no, I mean, it's one of those things where you get to the emotional core of what's going on. And I mean, I think I really appreciated the reality that, especially when somebody dies in this film, you're seeing the face. Of course, there's going to be blood. You're seeing the face, you're seeing the reaction, but we're not necessarily seeing someone's chest cavity being opened up or anything kind of like that. How big was that for you to sort of stay away from those kind of tropes, especially in the zombie sort of motif?
Just to base it more in a visceral reality that
Right.
you can relate to that doesn't take you out. Like there is some gory moments, but not to the point of like taking you out.
Yeah.
Or like, let's not push it too far. This is what would happen if, he stabs the woman in the eye with the glass. And it's like when you
Right.
see, you're like, okay, that's vicious. Or someone in the classroom does something to himself and it's shocking. And you go, well, there it is. Instead of just making it gratuitous or like really kind of like stealing the moment from them or stealing the moment from the actor or like the story itself and trying to accentuate it. And then I think you're exploiting it. No, and that's not the movie, and that's not the kind of movie I wanted to make. What I wanted to make is the emotional reactions to it. So a perfect example, and I talk about this movie all the time, but I was even telling the actors, like for tone, watch Super Dark Times.
Right.
That movie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was a huge influence on the movie. Huge. I'm indebted to him. I wish I could thank him, but that movie has such a hypnotic tone where it almost feels like a memory. And that's what I was trying to capture, where like, yeah, it's sad, it's brutal, it's this, but they're living. These are like us. They're just kids trying to figure it out and using a lot of the natural lighting and having these spikes of, stylistic moments to help accentuate certain moments, which they do in that movie, but keep things grounded and let the kids be kids and like let the teens be teens. So that of course echoes in the gore and everything. So if you all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, I'm watching, some I'm watching Return of the Living Dead, which is a fun movie. It's a great movie, but
Of
it's not
course. Yeah, yeah.
that's not what we're doing.
Now, I mean, I love that you brought up the idea of natural lighting because, I mean, it would have been so easy to be like, okay, well, they're in the high school. If they're in this one room, it's okay for us all to have the lights on and be perfectly fine. But no, you kept it half lit, you kept it in the dark. And I mean, people think that's easy, but it's not. For as a filmmaker standpoint, I can imagine that's a nightmare. Can you walk me through like sort of finding, I guess, the right uh bit like balance between light and dark? Because I mean, it's not all going to be natural light. You have to fake it. I mean, also depending on when you're shooting, you don't always have control of those things.
Um, well, we did our best to recreate it, right?
Mm,
So you could, for instance, when they go through into the teacher's lounge, it's
right.
very moody. You feel like that light's the sun or
Yeah,
deep
yeah,
sun
yeah.
or cloudy day. It's not. They're like 14Ks bumping through the window, but they're muted, they're filtered, they're muted, and it really feel like the sky. So that's what you're doing. You're not doing the high key lighting, you're not top lighting, and that's like we're not doing any of that with them. That was the key. We didn't want to have an artificial source of light. That's meaning the natural light. And sometimes you have it outside, obviously you play with it, then you literally have natural light. But we didn't augment it in any way with the high key lighting. So it never felt glossy that way. And we allowed like certain close-ups not to be bounced to be overlit. Like it was okay to be in the dark. It's okay to have shadows. And I'm proud. I'm so proud of Christian Beals, the DP. I've worked with him on 4 films now, and this film was very, very challenging for him. Um, the only time I cornered him was in the gym in a certain sequence where we had to look more than what we did, so he couldn't sculpt the light exactly how we wanted, and
Right.
it didn't bum me out, but I know it bums him out. People don't notice, but he does. We had to. We had no choice for time, but it's maybe a 4 minute sequence, not even 2.5 minute sequence of a moment. But everything else, we were so blessed because when we went into the gym, you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Jim has these windows at the top.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, no, most don't. So we're up on a scissor lift and they're just opening the curtains, closing the curtains. So we always had a certain angle. We always had light coming in. Sometimes we used the natural light. Sometimes we didn't.
Wow.
They
Wow.
had lights up there anyway in case we had to match. If we were losing the sun or if it was a sunny day or there was a cloudy day, we didn't have to do anything. It was when it's doppled, when it's sun's coming in and out of the cloud. That's when you have to like manage it as best
Right.
you can, but we have the capability of doing it. So, but I mean, Christian, we're jumping up and down with joy because it was like, okay, we're in this tomb of a gym, and usually they don't have windows, and this had two sides of windows at the top. How lucky were we? So we used it. So
Love it.
that's very lucky. Yeah.
Love it. Independent filmmaking, but still, I love it. Gotta appreciate that. And I mean, something else about this, and I mean, it's something that made me think because obviously, when you're of that age, you're a high school student. For one reason or another, life is not going perfectly, no matter how good it is. There might be problems at home, or you're stressed about this, or you're stressed about that. Like, there's just not the emotional maturity to be there to understand, the things you'll learn when you get older and blah, blah, blah. But there's something so compelling about paralleling that emotional state and that time for these characters versus, when they think their world is ending against when the world is actually ending.
Yeah.
Like, what is it about that dynamic that makes it so compelling in your eyes?
Ooh, it's an interesting question. I think it speaks for itself, but if I was to break it down, it's hard to like I've been there. We most of us have been some form or another of a
Right.
period. We're pretty broken, maybe. I hope you got through it. I hope we get through it. But especially in our teens, they're formidable years and they're very difficult. You're trying to find
Yeah.
your place. And so sometimes in these situations, it's much easier to depict that in a book because you can get into their inner monologue. But when you're trying to show it, it's hard to just sit on someone's face too long, or like you're hearing it from different characters. You can't just have someone sit in the corner, stare at a wall to like, what's going on inside them is a turmoil that you can't really depict on screen. So I think it's very compelling because in this instance, if you really have the time, if you're really watching it going, oh, I can see that this world around collapsing is her. What's going on inside? So it helps inform her. That's the best part, and that's why I think it works so well. It's like, oh, the world's ending in her as well. So it's like this turmoil, this viciousness, this unpredictability, this um, kind of deaths at the door. Like all this stuff is happening literally to them, but it's happening metaphorically inside her. So you could actually see it and putting in themselves in this position. So that's why I think it works. So because if just because someone's sitting there and maybe they're depressed in a way that is frightening for them or their loved ones and what they're going through, it's hard to tell just by looking at their face because sometimes what's going on inside isn't calm at all. It's just like it could be something different, and so the film allows us to show it
Yeah.
literally. That's what I find is compelling. But I mean, come on, what a twist, right? I mean, the irony of you find a reason to live at the end of the world. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
That's
Totally.
beautiful because it's a metaphor for the end of the world that's going on inside you. So when she drives off, and one of my favorite moments in the movie, to give it away, spoiler alert, for me, like, man, it broke me on set because it's like, it's not in the book so much, but that moment she's sitting with the card, which is not in the book as well, where you start realizing the connection with her sister, the one day at a time, the mantra, she drops her note, leaves it there. At the beginning, she picks it up, right?
Yeah.
At the end, she leaves it there, and the door opens, and the way the light was splashes and opens on her face,
You're right,
ready to go.
and I
You're ready
love
to
that.
go.
And I mean, just to put a bow on this, because I mean, I think this even speaks to some of the other work, like Wolves is so visceral, but on the exterior, because obviously there's these crazy ass wolves. Here, the crazy ass wolves are all internal and psychological, and I mean, it speaks to the freedom that the horror genre allows to really tell layered and dynamic stories. I mean, for you as a filmmaker, what is it about the freedom of working inside sort of the horror bubble that allows you to basically tell whatever kind of story you want? Because in that bubble, there aren't really any rules. You can do whatever you want, and it still will kind of fit at the end of the day.
Yeah, you kind of answered your own question because it's like there are no rules. You make up your rules. So that's why the horror, I think, more so than thriller or drama or even sci-fi, because sci-fi has to have a set of rules for it to work, I think.
Yeah,
Especially the world building, and it's a phenomenal genre. It's very difficult to do. And then you have, drama, you're set, especially if you're going to set it in the real world, you have these parameters. You gotta be within that parameter to tell the story so people don't take, then you don't take the audience out. But with horror, it's limitless. You create your own rules. You can transcend time. You can transcend this plane of existence. You can go into afterlife. You can go into demonic. You can go into just an absolute plethora of options to tell a story that you want to tell through that guy's,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's why I think it's so beautiful. Like I love that even William Friedkin would always say, and I get it. It's like he always says he doesn't see The Exorcist as a horror film, which could be laughable, right? You're
Right,
like, are you
right,
kidding
right.
me? People are vomiting. It's one of the scariest movies ever made. It's 100%. You're going to see that in the annals of history. It's not going to be in the drama section. It's going to be in the horror. Full stop. But he didn't treat it that way. So again, that's another way I think that horror is so compelling for filmmakers is that he can approach it. It's still a horror movie, but he characterizes himself as a documentary.
Right.
And it's beautiful,
Yeah.
right? And so the only limits you put on yourself in horror is the ones that you put on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like Weapons is another good example. I love that movie,
Oh,
but
100%, man. No, you're
yeah,
absolutely right.
when he puts the gun, the image of the CGI gun on top of the roof there with the countdown on the thing, you're just like, what the hell is that? Doesn't make sense. But I mean, I have my thoughts on it. I think it works with the way I interpreted it. But you can't do that yeah, in some certain movies. That just
Yeah,
breaks everything, right?
for
But in
sure.
horror, you can get away with a lot, especially with the camera work. I just can go on. I think it's the most forgiving genre.
Well, Adam, man, just this is a hell of a piece of work, man. I think it's one of your best so far. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for more people to see it. But just again,
I
thank you for the
appreciate that.
time, man, and just congrats on the work, and just keep it up, man. Again, just thank you again.
Thank you very much. I will say, like, it feels like you understood the film, and I think that's the one thing about the film is maybe be criticized is like if you don't get it, if you don't, if
Right.
feel it. I mean, it's my job for you to get it, but if they just don't, that's fine. But if they understand the nuances that we're talking about and they see it through the film, I think it's that's my hope for the
Well, I
film.
think you did that and then some, man. I mean, again, just
If they want
congrats on the work
a
and thank you for the
comedy or
time.
something, they're gonna be disappointed. Okay, thanks, man.
All right, cheers. And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.